This is our mini Jersey milk cow. I guess she is technically a mid-sized miniature Jersey or a mid-sized cow. She's 43 inches, so she is just barely out of the miniature category. Good morning. Today we are going to be milking the cow together. I don't know why they keep knocking my table over. I had to pick this up yesterday and again this morning. I am milking a little later this morning than I did yesterday. So yesterday it was like 6:30 a.m. I had just rolled out of bed, and just moving this table was very annoying. But I like to put the pump on this, so let me go grab it. Having a table is absolutely not necessary, but once we put it out here, it's been really nice because you can just set the pump right on it. It kind of shakes the cart if you just leave the pump in the cart. I've got the extension cord over there, but I don't want to run it quite yet because I can see that she's just gonna trip on it when she comes to get her grain. So I like to hook up the machine first so that that's just ready, and then we will go get her snacks and Megatron snacks. But this is Megatron. He is about a year old. I like to get as much set up as possible before I bring in the food, because once I bring in the food, that's all she can think about, which is totally fine. But then she'll just kind of be hounding me for food. And so I'd rather just have almost everything set up, and then we can just let her eat her food and get started. So I'm getting a bucket for her. That's going to be the green bucket, and the blue one for him. I'm going to do about a scoop of grain for him. We're trying to work him up to a little bit more before processing, and then she gets around 2.5 to 3, just depending on how I feel that day. It is a little bit later today, so I'm going to do, I don't know, like 2.5 scoops, because I'm about 2 to 3 hours later than I have been this week. This is the normal time when my husband milks, actually. Well, he maybe milks like an hour before this. So I'm running a little bit late, but he is traveling this week, so I don't have help from him. So I'm just getting things done when I can. So this was just our like grain mixture, and then I've got some kelp, minerals, and salt with garlic in here. I like to have some OGS, which is like an organic gut solution, I think is what it's called. I forgot to bring it out today. So I'm adding some kelp into Sylvie's, and then beef mineral and the salt with garlic into both of them. And then I have a little trick for slowing her eating down. Where did I put the lid? There it is. I have a little trick for slowing her eating down. We are using a milking machine, which makes things go quicker, but she's still pretty fast at eating. So I like to use mini alfalfa cubes. I think they're technically for horses, but I don't find her to have any issues with them as long as they are the mini versions, not like big old honking ones. I don't need to soak them or anything like that. Let me try to grab one. So this is what they look like. Let's see if you can see. Yeah. So some of them get like stuck together, so they're maybe like this big, but they're not super big. They're fine for her. I put these in here. When we bought her, her last owner said to do this because we were hand milking, and this saved us from just having to use tons and tons of grain. I still put a little bit in here because it does slow her down, but I don't put as much as I did when we were hand milking. But this just slows her down because she wants to get to the grain. That's her favorite bit. She'll still eat those alfalfa cubes, but just the scavenger hunt for the grain, it slows her down just enough so that I can not need to feed her tons of grain. I can kind of cut that with the alfalfa cubes. So I'm going to set Megatron's in here. Come on, Megatron. So he can eat over here. And I will bring hers in with me. Look at you. Are you waiting? Were you waiting for me? Do you want some? What a good girl. You got to come all the way through. So she is so routine driven. I normally don't have any issue getting her to come on in. There we go. And so I will just go ahead and lock this in place. This doesn't hurt her or anything. Just doesn't allow her to get her head back through. Now, I have forgotten to close this a time or two before, and it's never been an issue because she just wants the grain. She doesn't want to get out. Let me move you guys closer. There we go. All right, I don't think I'm going to use a kick rope today. I meant to bring out more iodine. I don't think I'm going to use this. We were using those ropes. My husband, when he milks, he says he doesn't. So I tried it the other day without it, and it was just easier. So I'm going to get her brushed down just to get any loose hairs off. She does have hair on her udder, so she's not like hairless down there, like some cows that I've seen, which I guess technically is supposed to make her less desirable, but I don't know any different. So give her a good brush down, and then did I remember my water? Maybe I didn't. I might have forgotten it. Okay, hold on. Let me run to the house and get it. I would like more land someday, but being able to run and go get that is definitely a benefit of having a smaller property. So I've got some soapy water here, and I'm going to clean off her teats. Get any sand and stuff off. Making sure to get the ends really good. I do want to make sure to say this is not necessarily a how to clean and milk your cow video. This is a how I did it. I made a video a while back talking about how we machine milk our cow and all of that. And I did so much more in that video than I'm going to do here. So much that was just unnecessary. So the process is always changing and shifting as you learn more. So yeah, this is what I do. This is what I do right now. Goodness, are we going to have enough iodine today? This is what I do right now. This is my process right now. I'm doing this iodine teat dip. This needs to stay on for at least 30 seconds, ideally a minute. I think I might have enough for post, but we're definitely low. I have it on my counter, and I was supposed to remember to bring it out. So that's going to sit. While that sits, let me get the cord run, because I couldn't do this earlier since she was bound to walk through it. So we'll get this run. Once I turn this pump on, it's going to be kind of loud. I have a mic on, so I'm hoping you can still hear me just fine, and that it won't be an issue, but we will delay turning it on as much as possible. So while that's sitting, we're almost done with that time frame. I'm just getting my gloves. I like to use a glove when I strip her out, just to keep anything off of my hands, anything on my hands off of her udder and her teeth. Okay, so this has been sitting. So just take a clean cloth. Oh goodness, I love these. These are like kitchen napkins, I think, but they're not fuzzy or anything. And I really like to use these for getting the iodine off. I like a more like microfiber type towel for the soap and stuff. I feel like it's really absorbent and does a good job on that portion. And then I like these for getting this iodine off, because this is the last thing to clean off before we start milking her. I'm just doing about 2 swipes to get it all off, making sure I get it off the end as well. And I can already see some of her milk coming out, so she's ready. She's like, I was ready 3 hours ago. All right. So, like I said, I use a glove, not because I'm worried about her, because I just like to minimize the amount of times that I touch her udder and her teats. Have I touched them before with my bare hands? If I forget gloves or something like that, yes. We're just going to take the first couple squirts. I probably do way more squirts than I need to, and then when I'm done and I'm going back down, I just kind of run my hand along the teat to get some of this coconut oil on. All right, we're about to turn on the pump, so it is going to get loud. I like to lay one of these towels that I used for wiping the iodine off down. Let's turn this on. Hopefully you can still hear me okay. We shall see. I like to lay one of those down in case I drop the claw or I have trouble getting it attached. It's much less likely to drop on the stanchion. So I hold it up like this and I kind of clamp these down to get suction, and I want to only release one when I'm about to put it on. Let's get my hair out of the way. Oh, that was not it. That was your skin, I'm sorry. Now tying her leg back would have made this easier because this leg would not have been in the way. Got that on, and then I remove this because there's no need for it. I'm going to move the cart this way so that the hose can kind of be in a good line, and that's it. Let me show you how the milk is flowing. Again, I hope you can hear me okay. I know that the pump is loud, but this is how I get this done quickly with my kiddos. The cleaning process takes the same amount of time regardless of if I am hand milking or machine milking. So really the only time saver would be to use a machine. This thing takes about 7 minutes to get her all the way milked out. And as you can see in the beginning, it flows really nicely, really quickly. As it starts to slow down, I do a couple things to keep it moving. I kind of hesitated for a while on whether or not I wanted to get a machine. My husband would milk on one side, I would milk on the other side of her, but there was just no flexibility. Like, you really needed both people. My husband could milk all on his own, but I was just so slow. So this just gives us maximum amount of flexibility. The cleaning is not that hard. Now that I have it, one, I'm glad that I know how to hand milk, but two, I'm really glad that I have the machine. I've really loved it. So ours is from Parts Department, and it's a 3/4 horsepower. Is that how you say that? 3/4? I don't know. 3/4 horsepower. It's a compact milker, and we have a new pulse claw on it. So I really like it. You've got your bucket. This is a 4-gallon bucket. She milks about 1.5 gallons once a day right now. And then this loud guy over here. You need to stay out of your mama's grain. I guess if he's eating on the ground, that's not too bad. So I'm going to put a glove back on. Because this is the point where I'm probably going to need to massage on her udder. Everybody, stay out of here. It's your mama's grain. I can tell that he is going to be problematic. And when I ran to go get that, when I ran to go get the water, that definitely took some time. So I think I'm going to run and get another scoop since he is eating her grain. Don't go that way, Megatron. Go around so you don't walk on my cord. Come this way. Over here. There he goes. Is he eating your grain? You still have some, but we'll get a little bit more just in case. So what I do at this point is I'm going to press down on the claw. Not a lot, because I don't want it, I don't want it to just completely come unsuctioned. But come on, little chick, get out of here. But I can press down a little bit, and I can massage on the udder. I am not going to be stripping this milk past this. So in my previous video, I did that. I got a bucket and stripped it out. One of my friends on Facebook was like, hey, I think you're doing a bit much. And she was right. It just added so much more to this. We have not had any issues of mastitis. So I really I get as much as I absolutely possibly can with this pump. by massaging the udder, pushing down on it. But what I was doing in that previous video, all the extra, it's just unnecessary. In my opinion, of course, this is not a how-to. This is a how I do. And I hope you're enjoying milking with me this morning. So she is shifting around a bunch, but she's not kicking. She's just stepping forward, which is very normal when they eat. As they put their head down, they'll kind of move forward, and then as they bring their head up, they'll move back. So she's not trying to kick or anything, which is very different than what it was like, look at these chickens, than what it was like before. When we first got her, we did have to tie her leg back. And if she were injured or something like that, if there were anything making this difficult, I would tie this leg back, no problem. If I really needed to make sure that she was just going to be good. Now this side is her higher producing side. I massaged the other side mainly to make sure that we didn't have any lumps, any hard bits, anything that was warm. That would be indicative of mastitis or something like that. But to be honest, that side just doesn't produce as much, so working over there with lots of massaging, it just doesn't seem necessary. She got injured on that side. Her one of her teats has a cut in it, like just, it's not a cut anymore, but it's different than the others. It does have a little flap. It's just never produced the same since then. It's not completely dead or anything like that, but this side has always picked up the slack since that injury. This side has always just produced more since then, this side of her udder. So she's having kind of like a small secondary letdown. I'm still kind of having to work for it though. Whoops. If she were to kick off the claw, I would just have to look at the top of the claw and just decide. How are you doing on grain? You're so good. I would just have to decide if it was clean enough. I'd wipe it off, check the filter when I got inside, but kicking off the claw really is not something that happens with Miss Sylvie. I'm going to bump her with these, similar to how the calf would. As you can see, it doesn't bother her at all or anything like that. Sorry, I'm not looking up at you, but I'm really focused on how the milk is flowing. As you can see, even though we have a milk machine and it's a little more hands-off, like I was able to go get grain, and you know, if I weren't filming, maybe I could do something with the chickens or whatever. You really only have a couple minutes of that where it's really flowing. At the end, you still want to be focused on how her milk is flowing and stuff like that, because you don't want to over milk her, you know? We're not trying to damage her teats or anything like that. So just until the milk starts to stop flowing is what we're aiming for. And I can tell by the feel of the bucket too, kind of where we're at. We are almost done. I'm not getting a ton when I'm pushing down. Really not much at all. So I will check her backside and make sure she's looking empty. So I didn't show you before. But I did. But you can see now that she's empty. I could see that there wasn't really any more milk flowing, so I'm just going to turn that off and let the suction release. And then it just comes right off. I used to do it before turning off the pump, and I would put my finger in there to break suction. But again, I had some nice people on Facebook, or maybe it was YouTube, give me some tips, and I always appreciate it. So we are going to try to dip these teats, see how well of a job we can do. And then I definitely need to get some more. I think we have just enough. We're scraping the bottom of the barrel, but we definitely have enough for today. There we go. And so we do this pre-milking and post, just to keep her sanitized up, keep anything from getting in there at the end while those teats are open. And then at this point, I'm just going to release her because she is all done. She was a good girl. And so I'll just let her out. I do like to just go ahead and take her feed bucket out and she can finish eating elsewhere so I can spray this stanchion off. Come on, you even got some extra grain today. You want it, huh? So I'm going to unhook everything because I want to move this away from the stanchion before I spray. This is all closed up, so there's not really an issue. Like, it's a closed system. But I still just don't like any of this stuff to be around when I'm spraying the stanchion because there is just poop and grime and things like that there. Go this way. She is out of grain, so she's decided she's going to poop. Megatron is pooping while he's walking. All right, so my last thing that I need to do is just get things kind of picked up and spray down the stanchion, and then I am going to be taking this milk into the house. I hope you enjoyed milking with me. I enjoyed a little bit of company today. So we will spray this off, get their water filled up, take the milk inside, and then I will get it chilled. Hi! And come back out to do chickens. It's so funny. I've been reflecting a lot lately on how it is having the cows now versus, she wants this water, versus how it was having them when they first got here. I was so nervous. They scared me so much. Which she was postpartum, so I'm not gonna lie, she was kind of crazy. Let me fill this up for you. I would have an easier time if you wouldn't be a shield. Hold on, I can't fill your water if you're right there. I've got another water for her out in the other field that is way bigger, but she loves to drink from this chicken water when she's done milking, and then I have to completely refill it for the chickens. Thanks so much for coming along with me for the milking today. I'm going to take the stuff back inside, get the rest of the chores done, and get on with our day, but I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you guys later.